Milan. But the big story here for the first leg of the Super Cup is that Paul Merson is available to play. After 3 months out of the game, several weeks in a drug rehabilitation centre, the FA this morning said he could play. Trevor Harris now reports on the return of Arsenal's prodigal son.
The scourge of drugs, alcohol and gambling that reduced an England international to tears. But since kicking his drink and cocaine habits, Merson has shown a new appetite for the game. He's lost a stone in weight and said recently that his return would be like Arsenal making a new signing. As if there won't be enough emotion at Highbury tonight, opponents Milan got their first taste of the stadium yesterday, still recovering from an even bigger trauma. The riot that forced the abandonment of their game in Genoa on Sunday. It stemmed from the fatal stabbing of a young Genoa fan, and although 800 Milan supporters are expected at Arsenal tonight, police say they've taken all appropriate precautions. On the field, Milan are proven performers, despite a mediocre league season by their standards. Though their 4-0 destruction of boss George Graham, who continues to be beset by bung allegations, knows his side have palpably failed to reproduce the form that swept them to European glory last May. But as everyone in the game is acutely aware, the Gunners often produce their best when their backs are to the wall. Trevor Harris for London Tonight.
Well, we're still waiting for the team news, but it looks as if Merson will figure in some shape or form, even if he doesn't start. Joining me now is Neil Silver, football writer for the Sunday Mirror. Neil, what sort of reception do you think he'll get if and when he comes on the pitch?
I think there's no doubt the loudest cheer of the night will be reserved for Paul the moment he steps onto the pitch tonight.
And George Graham will be delighted to see him, of course.
Of course, George has had a tough time both on and off the pitch, and a fit Paul Merson is the perfect tonic.
What sort of shape do you think he'll be in?
Paul's been putting in extra training, he's lost some weight, he's toughened himself up, he's fit and raring to go.
And obviously, with his dynamism, it could be just the vital tonic that Arsenal need.
Yes, and also the perfect stage, AC Milan, who could ask for a better opposition than Paul to show his stuff tonight.
OK, well, Neil, thanks very much indeed. We shall see. But there's another big football headline tonight. Wimbledon manager Joe Kinnear and his captain have been charged with bringing the game into disrepute and with ungentlemanly behaviour by the FA. That follows their defeat at Newcastle last week. And if you're planning to go down to Loftus Road tonight for the Premiership clash between QPR and Chelsea, don't, because it's been called off because of a waterlogged pitch. Now then, if things had turned out differently, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Londoner Ronnie O'Sullivan, could well have been playing football just down the road from here at White Hart Lane. Ronnie was a trialist at Spurs, but he turned his back on the game when he was just 16. Since then, of course, he's become one of snooker's top stars. But as Matthew Lorenzo reports, he feels he's still yet to come up to scratch.
He was the youngest.
That's it from Ronnie. That's it from Highbury for the time being. But don't forget, you can see highlights of tonight's game, Arsenal v AC Milan, tonight on Carlton Sport at 10:40. Back to you.
Nick, thank you.
Indeed so. Now, Alex Hill has our...
Their Italian league game was abandoned after a rival supporter was stabbed to death.
Definitely he believes that in the psychological balance of each player something has been broken, because in the last weeks, in the last practices and games before that event, the team was doing very well.
Arsenal manager George Graham says he believes that continued success in the European Cup Winners' Cup is more important than tonight's match. But in view of recent results and the Paul Merson affair, a win, he says, can only do good for the club.
Should also tell you that tonight's Premiership match between QPR and Chelsea has been called off because of a waterlogged pitch. Well, staying with football, and Wimbledon's Vinnie Jones and manager Joe Kinnear have been charged by the Football Association with...
Tonight on Carlton Sport, the European Super Cup. Can Arsenal rekindle the fire that saw them lift the Cup Winners' Cup? Gunners' opponents, mighty AC Milan, quite brilliant as they destroyed Barcelona to become champions of Europe. Hello, good evening from Highbury, where the winners of the two major European competitions last season, Arsenal and AC Milan, come face to face, but at a time when both clubs are having troubled seasons. Reporting, Gabriel Clark.
1-0 to the Arsenal rang out around Europe last May. Alan Smith stunned Palmer, and the Gunners got their hands on the Cup Winners' Cup. But nothing on that wonderful, wonderful night in Copenhagen could have prepared George Graham for the season to follow. For a man who sets his standards so high, it's been one big headache. Damaged by a dip in league form, then a double cup exit last month, and soured by scandal. Yet AC Milan were a club in crisis last weekend. Rioting surrounded their match in Genoa after the stabbing of a home supporter. And all this after the European Cup holders spent the first half of the season struggling to even qualify for the quarter-finals of the Champions League.
Danger again for Milan. They were asked with a cross. And a goal! Milan has made it two.
But the new year has brought with it more of the old form. Dejan Savicevic, outstanding in the European Cup final, has started to dazzle again. And Milan's reputation could do with more of the same tonight, when Highbury is also the first step on the long road back for Arsenal's prodigal son. 3 months after some said he was finished.
Merson with a shot. It's in!
Paul Merson spent Christmas coming to terms with alcoholism. Tonight, he's been given the all-clear to make an emotional return.
Well, I can tell you that Paul Merson begins his comeback on the substitutes bench, but is expected to make an appearance during the 90 minutes. One way and another, unhappy times for Arsenal and AC Milan, so plenty of incentive for both teams as they come out here for the first leg of the European Super Cup. Let's join our commentary team of David Pleat and first, Brian Moore.
Well, for Paul Merson, it's a big night. He's back in full view of a full house at Highbury. He says he's a new man. He says he's fitter than ever. He's lost almost a stone. He's rearing to go. But tonight, he's on the subs bench, but it'll be his first taste of action in 19 matches, stretching back to October. We're back into the Arsenal side for the first start since late November. His skipper, Tony Adams, stability and inspiration in the Arsenal defence. A surprising midfield is the return of Ian Selly. George Graham seems to reserve him for the big European occasions. And in attack, a first European game for 19-year-old John Hartson. 2 goals in 3 games since his arrival from Luton. Well, Milan have just about their strongest side. There is a change at right back where Tassotti comes in for Panucci. That's hardly a weakening of the side, though. Tassotti, after all, a World Cup player. And all the now familiar names, Baresi and Maldini, Albertini and Costa Curta, Desai in the midfield, the brilliant Savicevic and Massaro in attack. And Franco Baresi, the rock upon which so many Milan triumphs have been built in the last decade, now 34, and the thought is that this could be his last season. And there are 5 subs for both sides, and on the Arsenal bench, along with Paul Merson, are Martin Keown, David Hillier, Eddie McGoldrick, and goalkeeper Vince Bartram. The referee tonight is Mario van der Ende of Holland, supported by 2 Dutch linesmen. And a moment's pause before the start in memory of the Italian football fan who died in that stabbing incident in last Sunday's match between Genoa and Milan. All sport in Italy, of course, has been called off this weekend. That gentle clapping by Milan fans, that's a sign of their respect. Super Cup first leg. Milan in their famous red and black stripes attack the goal to our left. Some of Arsenal's best performances, of course, in recent years have been reserved for major European games. Now in the midst of a pretty gloomy season for them, they'll be hoping for something here tonight. Here's Wright losing out to Tassotti. Ball played in again to Savicevic. Back to Maldini. Superb left back. You see some surging runs from him, I've no doubt. Milan, who say in the last few weeks they've really been approaching their very best form. John Jensen down injured for Arsenal in the meantime. Desai, Massaro playing it in. Bold, just nicking it forward now for Campbell. And at last, I think some of the referee was at last seen Jensen, and Campbell played it into touch. Took a bang on the head there. I didn't see how that happened. David Cleats?
No, he got a whack. He fell straight away as Milan were building up down this left-hand side when Maldini went forward. But the one thing you notice in the first few seconds, the way Milan pressed as soon as Arsenal got the ball in their defence, they really spurted out quickly as a group to try and win the ball back early. I don't think they're going to be dropping off tonight and sitting back.
Harry Lewins had a look at Jensen, who's now going to go on. Maldini has the throw just beneath us now for Milan, and I presume they'll throw the ball back to Arsenal in a sporting gesture. And Lee Dixon gets it back to David Seaman. Hartson nodding it on towards right. Nice understanding. And Arsenal get a corner. 20 goals this season, Ian Wright, but soon to face a 4-match ban. Ian Selly, midfielder, another Arsenal youngster with the corner, and they're having trouble getting it away. Campbell almost got a shot on that time, and maybe should have done better than he did. Wright being pursued out here by Milan defenders. Just for a moment, Milan, surprising the amount of space and time they gave Campbell inside and deep inside their own penalty area. Lee Dixon with the throw. Thought very quickly, David, they might have made a bit more of that.
Yeah, the corner was well delivered by Ian Selly, and of course there's going to be a danger on set pieces with Adams and Bold and John Hartson. They're all very strong in the air.
Well, certainly anything in the air, you'd expect the Milan goalkeeper to get. Sebastiano Rossi, very nearly 6'6". Desai, Maldini. Campbell versus Maldini. Jensen, back to Bold, and straight to Donadoni. There was a flag up on this side, but the referee quite rightly playing on. This is Simone, well stopped by Adams. Timed his challenge well, scoops a nice ball forward here for John Hartson, who actually rounds Baresi, finds Wright with it, finds Campbell with it. Here's Jensen. Hartson's busy. Winterburn's gone away down the left-hand side. Schwartz finding Dixon. Bit of space here now for Wright bobbing up on this side. Maldini going with him. And Wright gets the cross in, but it's gone behind. Just flicked away by a Milan defender. It's another corner for Arsenal, which again Stefan Schwartz will take, but some really good build-up there by Arsenal. Schwartz with the corner. Well, Hartson was there, but he went behind for the goal kick.
They've really got to keep the ball away from the massive goalkeeper. He is one of the tallest goalkeepers I've ever seen in first-class football.
Yes, Sebastiano Rossi, only 6'6", 30 years old. Costacurta hitting it long. Massaro might come here for Simone, playing down this left flank, of course. Simone's shot. Oh, my goodness, that had a bit of curl on it. I got the impression that Seaman thought, yeah, that's going well wide, and suddenly there was a little judder in his body which suggested that he felt that it was going to be a little closer than he originally thought.
There's a splendid run there as well by Donadini round the back of Dixon, which really baffled Dixon and enabled Simone to cut inside and rifle that marvellous effort.
Savicevic being chased by Bold. having a terrific season, Savicevic, but the Arsenal defence got the better in there, and Jensen threading the ball through to Campbell, lets it go through to Dixon. That's a good break here by Arsenal. Terrific play by them, and the cross coming in, and Baresi it was who just tucked it away, but some brilliant move down the right, and here Milan responding now with Simone, Donadoni now, Massaro is there, and a good challenge by Tony Adams. Great little sequence that. First Arsenal on the attack with great invention, and then a super thrust and an excellent challenge from Tony Adams that halted Milan.
Absolutely vital. Absolutely vital, because they were left short at the back there.
Dixon quite rightly doing a tugging job on the back of Simone's shirt. So Simone with the free kick for Milan. Desai's in there, Massaro's in there, Savicevic, Maldini's come up from the back. Albertini also. There's the free kick. Oh, goodness, Savicevic with a little double shuffle at the far post. Very nearly made it count.
Well, I think Schwartz was sleeping in there as that ball comes across. There was good movement towards the box, across the box, and he stole in at the back there behind Schwartz and took him by surprise, and a little bit of calm, and it might have been the first goal.
Here's Nigel Winterburn with the free kick. Hartson. Back towards Selly. Good one there. Oh, it was a nasty bounce there just ahead of Rossi. Hartson just knocking it back. Oh, it deflected as well, which didn't help. Tassotti won't get to that. Minutes of the first half left. Challenge there. That's what the game's about after all, but the referee decided, oh, that's a good play there. Nice play by Wright for Selly, and a good cross coming in just too high for Hartson. That was some really slick play there, an excellent pass by Wright.
And it was good play by Dixon. He got on with that. He got a free kick against Campbell, and Dixon quickly took the ball and got on with the game, whereas Campbell really wasn't aware and ready for it, but fortunately Wright was. A good move. Dixon looks alert tonight.
Maldini, Donadoni, Baresi, Massaro, Savicevic, Desai, and Baresi again. Desai slipped a nice ball there for Tassotti. In turn now for Donadoni, cut back again towards Massaro, cut out well though by the Arsenal defence. Oh, and Bold has shown a bit too much of that to Tassotti. Albertini. Stopped by Jensen. Plays it down the line for Wright. Wright doing well here. Hartson's on as well. Campbell's coming up fast as well, but Wright may not need them. Terrific bit of play by Ian Wright. Punched away there by Rossi, and finally cleared some 70 yards there by Ian Wright. Terrific bit of play and a wonderful finish, which Rossi had to punch away. Meantime, Simone at the other end. Onto the right foot. They've got to hold him up. In the end, they do. Dixon bringing it away. The Arsenal fans roaring him on now. Campbell. Dixon. Play for Selly. And now for Hudson. Oh, he's beaten Maldini. Tried to thread the ball through. And in the end, Tassoni put it behind. Rossi was sprawling out of his goal and didn't make a contact. And Arsenal get another corner. Voted in, knocked on. It was Adams who got that merest touch. Rossi who made the save.
Well, I think that Wright's inspirational run has spurred everyone to life, because it really was a marvellous run. That was a good pick-up by Galley there. It wasn't easy by Rossi, but Wright's determination to win that ball, race 70 yards, and then hit that stunning shot really inspired 2 or 3 minutes of really fine play.
Baresi. That was deflected. I don't know whether Simone will get to it. He has indeed. Across there. Well, Massaro quickly came in. Bold, in fact, didn't get a touch on in the end, and it fell for safety for Arsenal in the end towards Winterburn.
Cool play by Bold there as that ball flashed across. I think that's a big difference with Arsenal tonight. They're far more confident in the back with the presence of Tony Adams, and they pass the ball out from the back more when he's in there.
Dixon. Jensen. Schwartz. Still 0-0. But Arsenal just about shading it on points, I would have thought, at the moment, David.
Yes, I think they're having the bulk of the possession. Of course, you can't ignore the breaks of Milan, but so far Savicevic hasn't been able to put the passes. When he's had the chance to make important passes, he hasn't been able to produce. And we've had Simone a couple of times coming in from the left-hand side, threatening. But generally speaking, the Arsenal back four have been very firm.
Jensen conceded the free kick, and just for a moment it looked as though the referee was going to pull a card out. He changed his mind. Maldini. Selly with the header. Campbell just playing it back. Here's Jensen. Trying to get right away. Just wouldn't fall for him. Winterburn's coming in. That's a free kick. Could be an interesting situation. A yard or so outside the box.
Terrific run by Winterburn as that ball was in the air after it was delivered, and Wright lost control. Winterburn was coming up like a train behind him. Really good support play. That's what's impressed me in the first half. The forward play of the two full-backs supporting.
Well, Wright, Selly and Schwartz are behind this. It looks as though number 7, Jensen, is orchestrating it. Milan have got everybody back inside their own penalty area. Formidable wall, and big Rossi behind it. It's going to be Stefan Schwartz, driven straight at the goalkeeper, fisted it away, and Mazzaro put it away. There's a yellow card being brandished there.
I think they're going to make them take the kick again.
Because somebody sprang out from the wall. Now, who that was that was given the yellow card there, we can only check at half-time.
He blew straight away, I think, for encroachment, but that doesn't mean to say that Rossi didn't parry that shot terrifically well, and Schwartz hit it magnificently. But will they do the same again?
In a moment we shall know. Deflected off the wall, and a corner for Arsenal. Schwartz will take it. Campbell and Bowles. Tassotti between them. Schwartz floating it in. And Rossi had it, lost it, knocked it up again.
I bet he's quite good at basketball, Brian, you know.
Certainly got the build for it, hasn't he? Half-time whistle. Good action from both sides. Arsenal probably had slightly the better of it territorially, but that famous Milan defence held firm. Milan also really threatening on one or two breaks, and a lot of very skillful football in that first 45 minutes. But it's Arsenal 0, AC Milan 0. Well, the Milan player to get the yellow card just before half-time was the number 9, Marco Simoni. He was already on a yellow card, so he certainly misses the second leg of this Super Cup in Milan against Arsenal next Wednesday night. Baresi with the clearance. No substitutes on for the start of this second half, but it's strongly felt that at some point in this second half, Paul Merson will come on for Arsenal. Dixon with the throw for the Gunners. Sai, Savicevic getting it away. Jensen trying to keep it going. It was Costa Curta who eventually made the clearance. Now Simoni. Massaro beaten by Winterburn. Plays it down the line for Wright, just a little too firmly, and Costa Curta gets it back to Rossi. Ball out of play, it'll be an Arsenal throw. John Hartson. Little touch there for Stefan Schwartz. Winterburn playing it in towards Kevin Campbell. Baresi is there. Couldn't be shrugged off that ball. Dixon! A terrific shot. Just skimming that Milan crossbar. Not scored this season. But he had them worried there just for a moment. He ran onto that. It fell for him beautifully. As you can see, it didn't leave an awful lot to spare. David Fleet.
Well, once again, good support play. Very quick to spot the ball breaking out and to support his forward players. And also Winterburn also started this half very well. Looks sharp as attack in the left-back position. Arsenal could well have benefited, actually, from the break last weekend.
George Graham on the right of the picture at the back. Paul Merson. Broke through there. He had to hurry that. He didn't realize until the last moment that Simoni was almost onto him. Here's Donadoni. Lifting that towards Simoni. And enough time for Seaman to get back.
That was a clever final ball there.
Meanwhile, at the other end, John Hartson tangling with Maldini. I don't know if John is a quick learner, but he'll learn a lot from Maldini and Baresi tonight. Jensen. Dixon with the cross. Oh. Baselli, who went flying in with a header. And a goal kick for Milan.
Ian Wright's moving around more. There we see the cross coming in. With a little bit unlucky Selly. Wouldn't get in the box too much in general play.
Savicevic. Here's Schwartz. He's done well there. Finding bold. Winterburn's gone on a run down the left. Forced Tassotti out wide as well to mark him, and instead they then sneak in down the right with Lee Dixon. Selly Well, he controlled that well. Dixon playing it in again, not so well that time, and Arsenal get a throw. But a lot of their approach play has been really bright here tonight. They're waiting for Adams to come forward, and they've used both these fullbacks, Dixon here and Winterburn, so well. Little flick on. Hartson battling away. Played for Selly. Oh, he miscued there. Winterburn. Jensen. They all left it for each other. Milan said thank you, and they get the ball forward to Simone. Now Donadoni.
Once more, good pressure by Arsenal. I think their best chance of success is to get it wide early and get one or two balls in round the back of the Milan defence.
Massaro. Savicevic. Shakes off Jensen's challenge. Massaro's there. The flag has stayed down. Simone's in there too, and he's missed a glorious chance. Well, he's been 6 times on the target in the Serie A. He's got 2 in Europe, and he had a beautiful chance made for him here by Savicevic.
Well, it was Massaro who beat the offside trap in the first place, cleverly holding his run. And I have to say that Simone, if he could have taken that ball on, he could have rolled it back to the supporting Massaro, and he may have placed it in the net. But that was the best opportunity of the game, a golden chance gone out the window.
And here's Massaro again. Well, he's scored vital goals. He got them in the European final against Barcelona last season, and he scored, of course, the very important one against Salzburg in the Champions League this season, when Milan were really struggling in that league. A victory in Salzburg, putting them into the quarter-final round. Desai. Well controlled there by Massaro. Foul by White. Free kick given. White very apologetic. Albertini, who has a terrific strike on him. As you can see. But a very good gather indeed by David Seaman.
Got a lovely view of the ball, didn't he, as well? Arsenal only having the 2 men in the wall. Seaman just popped it.
Just over 38,000 here at Highbury tonight. Not far from a full house, just into a few hundred. It's Jensen. Hartson going for this one. Just for a moment, Baresi didn't quite know where he was.
I think that was Baresi thinking that Hartson was going to make a challenge on him, and it's that physical strength and power sometimes that does panic defenders.
So right at the far post, waiting for this corner from Stefan Schwarz. Adams is in there. Could be a threat. Bold is peeling away from that near post. Here comes the corner, floated in. And, well, Adams, I think, got ahead to it. Jensen, a real up and under there, and Adams has stayed up, tries to find right with it. But again, there are so many red and black shirts around. Massaro.
Once again, it was a cross ball into the box that caused the problem.
Oh, Baresi caught out badly there by Campbell. Right now, going on. There's his shot, just over. Well, an error by Baresi. Normally you can count those on the fingers of one hand in the course of a season, but that was a bad mistake. He was badly caught there by Campbell. Wright took it up. And a corner results, which Ian Selly will take. Again, Milan have pulled every single player back into their penalty area. Adams got there. Another corner. Adams and Hartson, 3 6-footers there. Campbell, another one. And the Arsenal fan behind that goal, cheering now for what they hope is going to be a decisive breakthrough. Seller's corner. And quite simple catch that time by Sebastiano Rossi. Merson warming up, but so are all the other Arsenal subs. Gibson. Adams. Albertini.
Albertini and Desai really haven't played with too much ambition in the middle of the field. They've sat and defended. You can see how Milan play so solidly. They've played with a zonal defence all night, Baresi being the cover at centre-back. But Desai has played very deep, and Albertini really hasn't surged forwards too much from that central position.
There are the two of them.
Played a very safe game. They made sure they've kept this game tight. Got to remember the second leg to come.
Baresi. Adams gets it back.
I think it's a mark of how seriously the two managers treat the competition that they haven't used substitutes willy-nilly in this second period. But I think this man coming on now is someone whom we all expected to be joining.
Crowd have grabbed to greet him. Paul Merson. George Graham phoned the FA this morning to get clearance for him to play here tonight. It's Campbell going off, and it's Merson who's on. Hasn't played since early November. He's missed 19 games. He says he feels a new man. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of everybody, really. There's a young man here who is really facing a big battle in his life, and you can only wish him well. Well, it'd be terrific for Arsenal if you could just cap the night now with a goal for them. But it's Adams at the other end getting it back to Seaman. Ooh, that was a kick that could so easily have gone to Savicevic. Can smile now. Massaro. Merson couldn't quite get to that. Schwartz, right. So the man in the number 14 shirt gets his first touch, and is quickly closed down by Paolo Maldini. Schwartz. Merson again. Finding Jensen. In turn finds Winterburn. Jensen again. Merson wants some more of it and gets it. And then it's given away by Jensen. And Savicevic with support by Simone. Savicevic onto the left foot, possibly no Simone's in there. There's his shot! A super save by David Seaman. He caught that really well, Savicevic. Simone just knocking it back to him under a lot of pressure, and a flying effort there. Well saved by David Seaman. Get away from Desai. Oh, and he's hit a lovely ball here for Winterburn. Right. Jensen. Here's Dixon. There's his cross. Difficult for Milan to cut that out, but here's Merson again. Again spreading it wide for Dixon. Played inside for John Jensen. Oh, they got that away well. It was Donadoni, but I think he's injured in the course of it. The linesman helps him up. In the meantime, Savicevic. Oh, great tackle by Tony Adams. Savicevic must have wondered where that foot came from. He was lining up a shot at that point. And now perhaps Ian Wright can do the same. Although he's got Albertini to contend with, and Baresi puts it over his own crossbar.
Well, I think Hartson was inches away from a winner there. Splendid play by Wright. He's had an impressive evening. And Winterburn too, supporting on that side. There's the ball, wicked ball, goalkeeper's nightmare.
Selly with the corner. Towards the near post. Baresi solidly behind that one. And Winterburn takes the throw. Schwartz points to Dixon, so Dixon gets the ball. Jensen's gone wide on the right for him, playing it in early. Merson jumping with this one and winning it. A touch by Hudson and a good one too. Right, driven left foot shot, cannons back off the Milan defence. Tassotti. Merson. Says he's fitter than he's been for years. Jensen. Up forward towards Ian Wright. He's got Baresi there with him. And now Ian Selly just dinking one in there. Merson was hoping to get in, but Costa Curta with the header. Maldini hopes to prevent it going for the corner. And does so. Paolo Maldini. Actually, World Soccer have made him their World Player of the Year. FIFA, I know, have chosen Romario. That eminent soccer magazine says this man is the best player in the world over the last year.
It's amazing, isn't it, how they decide these things. Of course, usually forwards get those accolades.
Merson trying to thread his way through again. It was Maldini who stopped him. Now Baresi. This is the sort of break that Arsenal must beware of. But Dixon was there. Savicevic had no chance of picking that one up. Merson. Jensen. Merson again. Chance for substitutes to come on. Arsenal substitution. Taking off John Jensen. Replaced by David Hillier comes on, so it's a straight stop. It's a gritty midfielder replacing a gritty midfielder. And Baresi, ball goes out of play. So going to make the substitution. It's Savicevic who goes off.
Dejan Savicevic being replaced by 16, Paolo Di Canio.
Well, you saw the UEFA official getting himself into a right tangle there. He put 15 up. In fact, as you can see, it's number 16, Paolo Di Canio, who's on for Milan. Donadoni. Di Canio. But Winterburn was certainly not going to let Simone get away. Substitute coming back there and then robbing Winterburn. There might be a gap down this flank now for Massaro to exploit. Simone. Steve Bold holding him up as best he can. Massaro again. Hit it straight at Selly. In comes Winterburn. Selly again. Now Schwartz hitting it up to Hartson. Thought he played the ball to the referee. He was going to play it himself, but instead the referee blows the final whistle, and the first leg of this European Super Cup is over. Finishing again, as in the first half, with a lot of skillful football overall. Paul Merson making his comeback for Arsenal, but not on a winning side, but certainly leaving the tie plenty to play for in the second leg in the San Siro Stadium in Milan next Wednesday night. It's good to see Merson back. And it was good to see Milan and Arsenal putting on a performance, even though there were no goals here tonight. So the final score in this first leg of the European Super Cup, it's Arsenal 0, AC Milan 0.
The European Super Cup, there you have it.
George, I guess you always expected it to be tight, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, the important thing tonight really was for us to get something out of the game. Playing against one of the best sides, I think, not only in Europe, I think in the world over the past decade. International players, and we had to get something out of the game, and I thought we did. I thought we'd get nice and tight again. We played as a unit, getting some of my players back again, and it was a good performance.
0-0, second leg in the San Siro, fairly formidable task.
Not really. We always played, you know, well away in Europe, and last year we played 5 games away and didn't lose one. So, you know, we should go there, accept it as a challenge, and you know, enjoy it.
Were you happy to see Paul Merson return? What was your thinking there, giving him 15 minutes at the end?
Yeah, because obviously I want to blood him in gradually. It was a very emotional night for him. The fans got behind him. The boys were doing well. We needed a little bit of magic, but you're playing against world-class players. And I thought 15 minutes, probably 20 minutes would do before the game, and that's what he got. And he used the ball as we expect him to use it.
He's got a lot of people supporting him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been at the clinic. He's had outstanding therapy. I think he's come through it very well. Everybody's pleased with him. The medical staff are pleased with him. We're getting him fit now, and we need him back as quick as possible.
You seem to be coming through your own personal criticism quite well.
Well, it's part of the job, isn't it? I mean, my upbringing always taught me to, you know, take the bad times with the good times. And we handled the good times here at Arsenal with a bit of dignity, and we can also handle the criticism.
George, thanks very much. Good luck next week.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's the story tonight here at Highbury. Still to come, a variety of league and cup action from last night and tonight. We'll be back in a moment.
Last night, and did enough to convince manager George Graham that he has fully recovered from his drink after being sacked as Arsenal manager as he contemplates his plans to try and clear his name. Meanwhile, the man who's in charge at Highbury until the end of the season got off to a good start last night. Stuart Houston, formerly assistant manager, watched the Gunners pick up a vital 3 points against Nottingham Forest. He asked the players to win it for George, and they responded. Chris Kwawomya scored in the 81st minute, giving the Gunners, ironically, their first home win since October. Now, for the strangest story of the week, First Division struggler Southend have relieved manager Peter Taylor of his job. The former England player has been told to take a month's holiday before reporting back to chairman Vic Jones.
Arsenal, at least until the end of this season. Houston succeeds George Graham, who was sacked yesterday and who is now considering legal action.
Stuart Houston was brought to Arsenal by George Graham 8 years ago as reserve team coach. He's been Graham's right-hand man in recent times and was asked to take charge of the team for last night's game against Nottingham Forest at Highbury, a match which Arsenal won 1-0, their first home league win for 4 months. Houston emerged from talks today with chairman Peter Hill-Wood to announce that he'll carry on at least until the end of the season.
Well, it's a circumstances that, an unfortunate circumstance in some ways, and another way it's you know, I've inherited into the job very, very quickly. It's it was obviously a shock when it did happen yesterday, but I've got to get on with the job at the moment, and the job at the moment is to make sure that we prepare the players properly for Saturday.
If Houston does well, then he should be given the job on a more permanent basis. But bookmakers Ladbrokes have already produced a list as to who may ultimately take over. Southampton manager Alan Ball, a former Arsenal player, is the odds-on favourite. Houston is quoted at 2-1, with the former Arsenal captain David O'Leary at 4-1. Another former player, Liam Brady, is quoted at 12-1. The Arsenal fans have their own favourites.
Alan Ball, as long as he brings Matthew, that is, yeah.
I think if they leave Stuart Houston until the end of the season, see what happens. If he picks up the Cup Winners' Cup, give him a chance.
I think George Graham should go back.
What happens if he doesn't?
Well, I'll be annoyed, but I think that if he can't go back, David O'Leary.
George Graham was not at home today. He was talking to his solicitors. Legal experts believe he could win substantial damages.
You can either issue a writ and sue in the High Court, which will get a maximum amount of publicity if it goes all the way and is not settled, or he can go to an industrial tribunal, which has less publicity but gives him an opportunity again of airing his grievance in the way that many other people have done in highly publicised circumstances recently.
The Football Association was refusing to make any comment today, though tomorrow afternoon the Premier League Commission looking into illegal payments into football will publicly reveal an interim report which will tell us more as to why George Graham was sacked.
Well, another football manager's career looks to be over tonight. Southend have relieved Peter Taylor of his duties.
And then, whether he gave it back or not, I think George had to go.
Did they make their decision later rather than sooner? Do you think Arsenal, they've known about this for a long time?
Well, they seem to have known, but I'm not aware of all the facts. It's really difficult to say. It seems strange that they've spent a lot of money in the process, and George has spent it, which obviously shows that they really trust his football judgment, quite rightly so. But it's difficult to know why now, and it also begs the question, would they have gone ahead and sacked him if they were at the top of the league?
Interesting. Is it your experience that this is rife in the game? People say so.
Well, we hear stories. I mean, I've been involved in transfer and never noticed it. I think players are generally unaware of it. There's been a hell of a lot of rumour. I think if George carries the can for everybody, and I'm sure not all managers are involved by a long way, but there's certainly other stories. There must be. It
would be unfair if he was...
It would be. I would think it would be hugely unfair.
Is there a way round this so that managers don't get involved in the financial transfer dealing?
Well, I think there's got to be like a central holding place by maybe the FA or UEFA, and where all the money goes. If the two clubs have got to agree a fee, it's got to be made common knowledge to the FA and to UEFA exactly what that fee is. The money goes there, and then once you're in control of that situation, then it's very difficult for money perhaps to be siphoned off elsewhere. But and also, I suppose, there's the agent thing, that you've got somebody called Rune Hauger in this particular case, that it's acting for two parties. He's acting not only for the player concerned, but he's also acting for George Graham, which can't be right.
Yeah. Well, the three-man league commission go on with their inquiries, apparently, after the formal announcement of the George Graham affair tomorrow. Thank you very much, Gary, for the moment. Just a reminder about...
Evidently, the only player in the team last night not signed by Graham. Forest, below strength and defensively minded, held out until 9 minutes from time. Then Merson gave Chris Kiwomya the chance to show style in finishing. And it brought Arsenal's first home win in the Premiership since October the 23rd.
A proud club steeped in tradition. It's been an unbearable week for Arsenal Football Club in an embarrassing season. Herbert Chapman, the most successful manager until George Graham arrived, his last success to deliver the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Nixon. Straight to Smith.
George Graham, a double winner as a player at Arsenal, won 6 trophies in 9 years at Highbury, including 2 league titles and a unique league and FA Cup double in 1993. A glittering roll call in what until Tuesday had been a glittering career. But Paul Merson's drug addiction was the latest in a catalogue of off-the-field troubles during Graham's reign at Highbury, while his side's robust style didn't always please the critics.
You've got to make up your mind in football. If you're going to be entertainers, mid-table, bottom of the league, or whether you're going to sort of like get a team unit that's going to win things and hopefully entertain as well.
This year, while Arsenal and Graham awaited the outcome of the Premier League inquiry into the illegal payments affair, Graham's old club, Millwall, were ending Arsenal's interest in the FA Cup. Pressure piled upon pressure. On Tuesday, the end came. George Graham was sacked following the Premier League investigation. Ironically, on the day George Graham was dismissed by Arsenal, Dutch international Glenn Helder, his last signing for the club, made a highly impressive debut in the 1-0 victory against Nottingham Forest. Chris Kiwomya, also signed by Graham in the last month, scored his first goal, a goal that gave Arsenal their first win at Highbury for 4 months. After the victory, the responsibility of guiding Arsenal until the end of the season was given to Stuart Houston, Graham's assistant for the past 5 years.
Well,
I've had a couple of days now to let things settle down, and I'm getting on with the job now, of obviously on the training ground here, and seeing a little bit of the other side of the coin, so to speak, and it's quite an eye-opener. You know, this is a very big club indeed, and you know, it's a big challenge and a big job.
George came to say goodbye to the players a couple of days ago. How emotional was that for you all?
Well, actually, it was very emotional. Some of even the senior players, there was a few tears. He came in and he had a word with all his staff, and then he had all the players, senior players, right through to, you know, trainees. Thanked everybody concerned at the club for all their efforts and helping him over the years, and winning major trophies at this club. And it actually touched the hearts of a lot of players here, senior players.
He came in yesterday and had a word with us, and you know, the same old things came out, and you know, we give him a round of applause, and it was sad to see him leave.
And a few tears, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players who were at the meeting that he signed, and for him to be a big part of your life, like 8.5 years, and all of a sudden he's not there, it is an emotional time, and he's been very successful as a manager, and the players have been successful under him.
What do you think you've actually got to do to get the job?
Be successful.
So, win the Cup Winners' Cup?
Well, obviously, it's at the moment in time, we've still got many points, obviously, to battle for in the league. The only competition at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, to win is the European Cup Winners' Cup. And as holders, you know, we want to hold on to that cup.
Is it a good thing, Gary, or a bad thing that Arsenal face such a big game at such a time?
It'd be a good thing if they get a good result,
Yeah.
but it depends. I think it's good to get it. You know, you've got a big game. Everything else gets forgotten. They've got Auxerre. It's you know, the European Cup Winners' Cup. They're holding the trophy, and I think it'll just get everybody up, the supporters and everybody else, just concentrate, you know, on football again. It's great to talk about the game rather than all these other things.
But in the long term, Stuart Houston will do an excellent job, but does a big club necessarily require a big-name, high-profile manager?
No, I don't believe so. I don't know Stuart Houston. I've never really worked for him. But I think Liverpool's a prime example of to prove that you don't need a big name. In their history, they've just got people from their backroom staff. You've got Roy Evans now, who's doing an excellent job. So history suggests otherwise.
Okay, let's get